I've made it across the wall. Found a new room. If you haven't already looked, you can look at the fellowship hall space where we were, and you can see they do.
Thank you. I'm glad.
And it's become quite a nice little sanctuary for them. So it's kind of like a sacred space. So it's probably not for us to use.
We're not very sacred.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. So it wouldn't be appropriate, I think, for us, to be, they bought new furniture and apartments and everything, so, and it's painted, altars set up there, so it's better that we're over here. We'll see how it goes, and I don't know if we'll have to make some adjustments. Sometimes there's pickleball tournaments in the gym, sometimes there's music and dancing, ballroom dancing, so you'll see how that works, but I'm glad we've got this one. First, I'd like to recognize any visitors with us tonight. Any visitors?
Yeah. I'm Bob from Nevada, W7WOW.
All the way from Nevada.
Yeah.
Where in Nevada?
Well, I live in the middle of nowhere, Dyer, Nevada, between Las Vegas and Reno.
Mojave?
It's kind of northeast of Mojave, but it's high desert.
Okay, great. So you're moving to the area?
Yeah, I'm giving up my 5 acres. Tennis for half acre.
I'll take them. I've always wanted to live in, I've always wanted to have some world in Mojave.
Yeah.
Well, welcome, man. Well, thank you. Good to have you here. Any other visitors tonight?
Hey there, well, I've been a member for a long time, but I've never shown up before, so. So I'm here,
Both times.
yeah, but my name wasn't on the printed list,
Okay, we'll
but
have
I
to
wrote
take
it
care of
down.
that.
Yeah, no problem. I'm Allison Andrews, by the way, yeah.
Thank you, Allison, for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
I'm Ryan, I'm not a member, but I just showed up in my last
Right,
meeting.
glad you came back. You're always welcome. You don't have to be a member. You join the meeting. Well, I think next introductions. What we'd like to do is start at one end and sweep around, and everybody can introduce yourself and name and call sign. And if you're on Zoom, welcome to you that are on Zoom. Glad you could be here. If you go to the upper left-hand corner, you can add your call sign to your name, and we'll be able to recognize you. I'll ask Ken to read all the participants via Zoom, so we'll have covered everybody. I'll go first. I'm Daryl, WW4F.
I'm John, KX4QC.
I'm Bruce, W4BRU.
Armin, WA1UQO.
David, Whiskey Delta 3 Officer.
Dave, W4IIA. John, KC4WT.
Alex, Q November 4, Quebec, Gulf, Quebec. Monitoring, literally. Tom.
KT4BIV, name's Tom.
Like W4.
Tom, KT4CMK.
Steve, W4SB.
Which,
K4AEV.
Adam, K24OTH. Dennis, K4DAF.
Tom, R4TH.
Ryan, W5OAT.
Lynn, KQ4YOZ.
Kathleen, K5HTV.
Will, KR4CE, and I'm the secretary.
Ken, WV0L. I'm the treasurer.
Allison came for TWH.
Dave, Kilo Romeo 4, Echo Yankee Foxtrot. Echo Yankee Foxtrot. I'm still practicing.
Rick, K84OHM.
Warren, W4WFJ. Bob, W7WOW. Win, W4WIM. John, WB4NHX.
Ken, could you read off those joining us via Zoom?
Okay, Robert Fernando, I don't know your call sign. You'd like to tell us who you are, what's your call sign?
KG4ZIK.
Okay, thank you. Bill and Judy, Bill is N4WLC, Judy is N4D. JBI, yeah. Dave's iPhone. Call sign.
WB4 DES.
Okay, iPad Warren,
Muted.
yeah, you gotta unmute yourself, Warren. Okay, we have Jim, W4PKR, John. That was John over there. We have Kate, X4QC.
That's right here.
Oh, I'm sorry. The other John then is W4ZAK. And then we have William Pierman. Okay, that's everybody.
Thank you, Kim. Next, with with our newsletter, we attached the minutes from the last meeting. And I wanted to know if there are any updates or corrections to those minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second, third, all in favor?
Aye.
Minutes approved. So the next, we'll move to the treasurer's report.
Okay, we started the month with $15,399.04. We had 6 member dues come in, so $66. And then we had all sorts of expenses here. We have a paid for email account at mail.com, RARC@mail.com, $29.99 for that. Had to buy some ink to print all this stuff off. $92.63. Hopefully it'll last a year. We had to pay for the PO that we have in Fanning. That's $244 a year. And we had to pay for our liability insurance with the Hartford. That's $425. And we had to pay PayPal for the 6 people for the $66 that came in. $2.52, but went to that. So we ended up with $14,670.90. Bad months, but then put the Hartford in the PO box, somewhat expensive things. We do get a slight discount by paying for it for the whole year at a time. So, but and I have four new members that I'd like to get voted in. Matt Sayer does not have his license. He was going to be here. Emailed me and said, I got the flu. I wrote back and said, stay at home. I don't want to catch it. So, I did put a smiley face, so I probably. Warren Winter, W4 UIE and extra. We have Todd Whiteman. He does not have a license. And we have Emily Boots, who was at the last meeting. WB4M or EMY technician. So can I have a motion to accept these 4 new members?
So motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. They are in.
Thank you, Ken, for the treasurer's report. Do we have a school up there, this evening?
We always go to school up there.
Oh.
Yeah, we're coming, the fall is always a problem because, you know, people are not quite ready for fall to be here. I put something down so I can remember. Okay, so we're coming up on the registration time. For tech and extra, you need to be registered by the 31st of August for the class. So if any of you are interested in doing that, I know somebody else is, you need to make sure they kind of sign up and register. You know, you can sign up online and pay online. The deadline for signing up is September 19th. And then for for radio sport and contesting, that seminar is September 8th. The DMR, antenna modeling and remote station, it's the 28th. So those are your deadline dates to sign up. The fall is sometimes kind of slow because people aren't quite ready to get into the fall. But if you want to take one of the seminars yourself, get an upgrade, or you know somebody who needs to, please tell them about it and tell them the deadline's coming up at the end of August, so they know about it. And that was, I had something else. Oh, and then the other thing I usually report on, the vote station.
Yes.
Craig Vincent's been having a problem with a lot of noise when he transmits. And there's kind of a bonging sound. And, the guys have heard it when I've been on 80-meter nets, but it's very mild in the background. Fred was really getting overwhelmed with it. Instead of recording of it, it was pretty bad. So Ken and Mike and I tried to diagnose it. We have not diagnosed the root cause at this point. We decided, however, that it sounded like maybe some RF getting into the computer. So we went to see if we had ferrites around all the USB cables, which we did, but Mike found a somewhat loose RF connector. So he tightened that up, and Fred's gonna tell us whether to fix the problem now. As I say, it's been there for a while, it's not been a problem, but for Fred, it was a problem, it's pretty noticeable, so that's the report on the one.
It seems to only be on the 80-meter.
80 meters, yeah, Ken and I did some testing, only on 80 meters, seems to be around, 38, 39, so we're having the problem. So it does make it sound like it's RF leaking into the computer and something in the sensitive too.
I have a question. What's the frequency and time for your 80-meter net?
38, 58, is that right?
Yeah, that 3858 Monday night, 7:30,
Yeah, 7:30, 8 o'clock. The
and,
guys keep charting earlier and earlier.
and plus or minus of the occupants.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. Any update on the D-Star? Anything good report?
All good.
All good. You already
Watch out.
2 weeks. And, we've covered the remote station, thanks for keeping that up and keeping that running. And the remote station is available to all the members according to your license privileges. You can use that station, and it's located here. The antenna's on the roof here. And some people have some pretty good success using that.
That's a good read that.
That's a good one. So, anything new about net activity? If you go to the Richmond Amateur Radio Club website, you'll see you'll be able to navigate, look around, you'll find all the nets that are running, that are associated with the club. 6 meter, the 80 meter we talked about, and the 2 meter, the Canoe Hams net on 145.430. So there's 10 meter net. What's the D-Star we mentioned? 6 meter, 52.525 Thursdays at 7 p.m. So make use, somebody's always there from the club. Net control is there, so somebody to talk to. So the only thing I know coming up as far as any of the other clubs is the Richmond area. No, it's the Central Virginia 6 meter single sideband net. They're going to have a tailgate coming up at Hatcher Memorial in September 15th. September 15th. I think that's something that we list in the newsletter. You look back at the newsletter, it was listed in there. I think it was.
Also on the calendar.
And it's on our calendar if you go to our website, so you can catch, if you want to look that up. It's a nice little gathering with local and a little tailgate. That's
Where is that?
Hatcher Memorial and my
Oh,
side.
I know where it is. Church, I think so.
It's the old business. New business.
Couple things, real quick. It has been noted in the chat, this room is much quieter and better sounding on Zoom. So that's yay. The other thing I'd like to, if you go to our website and you have any issues, please email the webmaster. That's Bruce and me. There's a place off of the main page to notify us of an issue. We had one somebody wanted to sign up for one of the classes. And they were at the schedule of when the classes occur. And they didn't know that they had to really go away from there and go to the form that says, hey, I want to register for the class. They did something and they emailed me personally and said, hey, what did I do wrong? And I explained what they had done incorrect, told them how to do it. And I said, and you have prompted me to make a change so that as you come down the schedule, there's going to be a line that says, if you want to register for the classes, click here. But it is going to be right in the same place. So if there's things like that that you see that you think would be helpful to other people, let me know. We can make changes to make it more user friendly. If you have any articles or anything you want to have published, clubs that you know about somewhere else that is having a ham fest or swap meet, anything of that nature, we've got space to put it up and to make it aware of everybody. So let us know.
Daryl, one thing I forgot about this cool announcement, our classrooms have moved. We're no longer in that far building. We're in this building. We're on the second floor, kind of over here. I've got information on how it is, and we'll send that out to you to sign up the classroom. So we've got 2 classrooms up there, quite new and very nice.
That means we can use the elevator?
Means you can use the elevator.
Nice. I already signed up.
Let's see, any other old business? New business?
Hey Bruce, if I can inject this, anybody in there have a Yaesu FT 3200? The reason why I was asking, I have one of those 50. Thanks, you want to involve if you have it.
The Yaesu 3200.
Yes, it's FTM 3200 TR. But if anybody needs one, thinks of it after the fact, let me know.
See Tom. Okay, we'll send them to you. So I have a couple of things to announce or new business items, and one is the badges. So you'll notice a few of us have badges, and these are the prototype badge. The July board meeting, the board approved to go ahead and cover the cost manufacturing badges for those who request them, and you'll come and pick them up. So if you go to our website, you can find a place to sign up for the badge. We're not going to just make badges for 140 people that are on the broadcast. It'll be, you have to request it. And right now, Rob Thomas is authorized to go ahead and purchase the materials. And we can get it all together, the plastic, the label materials, and we'll be producing them ourselves at Hack RBA. That's over in the industrial area over there, Westwood, off Westwood. So but we'd like to get everyone to sign up. Check to be sure the spelling is correct. And one thing that Rob wanted to do is write some script so that the spacing is equal, however long the length, the name is, the spacing will come out nicely. There's one thing he wanted to work on in addition to getting the materials. So it'll be this style. And we'll probably, I think we might be trying to make them by an October timeframe, maybe one Saturday, a group of us will go together. You be there, operate the laser machine to cut these out, and printing them, putting them together, putting the backs. We've got the lanyards on order also, and there'll be a breakaway lanyard, so you'll be able to snap them in for the continuous loop. So that's the plan. Sign up. There you go.
There's where you go
Website.
on our
Thank you.
website. It's on the featured content. I have my badge to take a picture of, so just go there. Here's where you fill it out, send it. No biggie.
Any questions about the plans? We'll see how it actually works out, but that's the plan. That's the direction we're going in. Please sign up. I imagine we'll make the initial one is gonna be something around 48. We're buying that much material for 48 as a first step. And it won't be the last time we have a production line for badges. We have new members, you know, they'll probably want badges also. There'll be additional runs in the future. See, another thing that's going on, we're establishing a groups IO. And that's something that Lauren Ware has been working on for us. She's the vice president of clubs and just created that as the first step for the directors. And so now we have groups IO. Is it probably many of you already have group IO, so you know about that already. We wanted to have that for the club, and it's so it'll evolve into the membership having that also. But right now we're testing it. We set it up, we test it, make all the settings, and that's working now for the directors. And then we hope that maybe later this fall, by the end of the year, certainly that we might have groups IO for the Richmond Amateur Radio Club membership. So you can connect with each other. You don't have to wait till the meeting.
We'd like to know what an IO is.
Groups IO.
It sounds like a website, groups.io.
Groups.io, yeah.
Yeah, groups.io.
Yeah.
It's like a more streamlined Discord, basically. So like, if you've ever,
They won't know what Discord is.
she does. You haven't dealt with the Long Island Radio Club, but other radio clubs use groups.io. So there's no like IO, I'm not sure what that means aside from computer context. But it's like you can think of it as kind of like a forum.
Oh.
Yes.
And if you own any experimental gear, stuff like that, that's where the dialogues are, on how to fix this and where that problem
Oh,
is.
nice.
So yeah, the major radio, Electraft will have a groups IO. Apache Labs will have a groups IO. Yaesu will have a groups IO. So you can join the group, and then you can see all the communication, all the chat and questions and answers and information about that particular group, particular device that's in that forum. You can select if you want to get a daily digest of a group of messages or emails, or if you want to have them individually. As soon as somebody posts, you get it right away. You can those settings that you can decide, or you don't have to join at all. So you don't want to be bothered by too many emails.
We have a
Yes, sir.
person on the, has raised their hand. Jim, would you like to go ahead and, whatever you raised your hand about?
Yes, thank you, Ken. I just have an announcement before I forget about the Hanover Half Marathon on August the 23rd. I'm not organizing this one, but I am helping to spread the word. It's August the 23rd. The hours, it's actually the Ashland Half Marathon. They need volunteers. The organizer has almost my call sign. His name is Sean, and his call sign is Whiskey for Bravo Kilo Romeo. The hours are 0600. He says to not later than 1400 hours on the 23rd. He needs water station communications, medical tents. He does have a net control already. So if you're interested, available, give him a holler at Whiskey 4 Bravo Kilo Romeo at ARRL.net. That's Whiskey 4 Bravo Kilo Romeo at ARRL.net. And I hope to be there. Originally, I wasn't going to be in the area, but due to COVID, now I am. So that's it, and good to see everybody. Thanks.
Yeah, I was just looking, I think it's out on our website already.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, but thank you for that reminder. I should have made a note of that. We put,
No,
we put, I know you sent the email out.
okay.
You,
I sent it as an email, okay.
right, you sent it out to an email to our membership. But I thank you for bringing that up, here at the meeting. So I have one other announcement, and that's, involves our nominating committee. We have Rick, Wynn, and Bruce. It's that time of year to start thinking about offices for next year. And so if you would like to volunteer, if you would like to nominate, please see one of this, Rick or Wynn or Bruce, before the September meeting. They would like to announce, the candidates in the September meeting. Any other announcements?
Are you going to do
Let's do show and tell.
I need some great work on this ugly thing is a vertical 2 and 440 ground plane antenna. It should be built with welding rod, but I can't get the welding rod to bond to this thing. Now, this ugly thing does measure the VNA very fine. It looks good, but it's ugly and it's that sort of thing. If anybody has built one of these with welding rod and knows how to make it work together, you gotta have a 60-degree angle here, all that sort of thing. So if any of you guys experience, see me after the break and let's talk about it, okay?
Yes. Great. Any other show and tell?
Yes. At the moment, I'm trying to figure out how to mount this particular microwave dish. But all I have for mounting hardware, which came separately, is this monstrosity, and no way to actually combine this with this and actually make it work on a tower or even on a pipe sticking out off of my wall. So if anyone who has tower climbing experience, particularly with installing dishes on transmit sites, or anyone knows anyone who likes that, get in contact with me later, please.
Okay, Alex, thank you. Let's see there. I have a note here that Emily and Nora wanted to make an announcement. That's my note, but Nora, I'll leave you on the side. Come on up.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on up.
Actually, it's be careful before it's.
Oh, no.
Actually, it's all the tips.
As some of you know, about the ham radio chips that Bruce had presented us, and for those of you that don't know, we all started our technician class like 2 years ago, and then some of us went on to the, so we're still kind of babies trying to learn, and Bruce has been doing a great job of mentoring us. For those of you that don't know, we meet every Monday by Zoom, and then we learn how to talk to each other, and then we also get to do calls. So we're learning a little bit at a time. During the classroom, it's more theory, so we're trying to learn the hands-on. So we came up with an idea on doing kind of modeled on the garden tours that people go to different gardens, but instead of that, ham radio chat tours. So we are looking for volunteers that might offer themselves for us to go and learn about your equipment if you feel comfortable. And we might do it every 2 weeks, every month, every week, we don't know yet.
Once a month.
Once a month, maybe. We already have a few offerings.
Reference number 1.
Yeah, and Armand and Paola, they offered theirs, and Bruce, when he finished moving into his new space. So if anybody is in or has the desire of mentoring and be part of the, I would call continuing education on making the leap between the theory we all pass the exam, so we know it in our minds, in our heads, but we just need the experience.
And we make no judgment, we don't look for dust. No white gloves.
So Kathleen Broad has a.
And a sign up for
Right
you.
there, right there. So if you so desire to put your name there and say we would work around your schedule, and then we'll find out, we're 9 chicks. But anybody else that has, that are not part of the chicks and wants to visit other people's, to get inspiration and, that I think is one of the best way to learn, to see what everybody's doing, how they're connecting with antennas, the different ways that, so that's enough.
So are you saying that you will allow roosters in your organization?
Sure, why not?
Yes.
Not all men at once.
We don't, you don't know the organization, go with your radio check.
Yeah. Just we wanna see the real thing. I mean, we're kind of late bloomers and we're gonna get going.
Just like to sign up right here. So-
Yeah, it's not mandatory. It's voluntary, but we
But
really
it'll be
appreciate it.
fun. It'll be fun.
It would be fun for all of us, and so, anyway, it's out here. And you might be inspired later on, maybe we do reports on how it goes, maybe we put it in the news letter to say what we learn, you can quiz us after. But thank you very much, that's all, thank you.
Thank you. I forgot we were gonna do that.
Offer to bring cookies.
Yeah, we can bring cookies. Okay. That can be arranged.
That's good.
That one right
May I?
there.
Yes, something you wanted to ask.
Yes. Yes.
Come to our house because my wife doesn't believe there
This past Sunday,
Look right there.
There you go.
But see, I'm in Louisa, so y'all look.
That's fine.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that was it, whatever.
this past Sunday, just for the experience, because I'm a brand new ham, I've only had my tech license for like 90 days. I'm now studying for my general. So this past Sunday, I drove out to Berryville and went to the Ham Fest. And it was quite an experience. It was a small town Ham Fest. But one of the neat things I managed to sit in on is I caught the last half of a regional speaker from ARRL. And he was talking about the state of Bahia. And one of the things that he was really kind of trying to drive home was they said AA or ARRL needs to do a better job of engaging with new techs. To that same enthusiasm they had with taking the test, with getting their license. And I definitely, that's why I made the rooster comment, because one of the things they said is we talked back and forth at the meeting, was new techs, if they don't know anything about ham radio, and trust me, I'm there, because I spent 44 years in the grocery business. And until I took my tech exam, I didn't know my watt from my own. And so, much like these ladies have formally asked for, one of the things we looked at it is techs kind of need a mentor. Someone that they can come up with and say, okay, we took the test, we got the license, we're studying for the general. If you excuse the way I put this, but we want somebody to learn and play with.
Okay.
We want to, go out, do POTA, once we get our general. We want someone to help us through the hands-on back and forth with the radio. And I'm saying that, because I'm gonna make a request for a little tutelage here. I emailed Sean out at Ashland, explained to him how new I was. And would he accept as a volunteer somebody like me that's brand spanking new? He said, sure. Come on. And I told him I had not yet bought my first ham radio at the time I emailed it. He said, no problem, we'll see if we can find the one to use. Well, in the meantime, I went to buy two-way radio and I bought an Ocean KG 935H, which is the ham version. I have done my best reading the user manual and everything else because
I know where you are. Oh dear.
well, I have to do a shameless plug for Buy Two-Way Radio. They, even though they're an Ocean distributor, they don't send you the user's manual that comes from Japan or China. They write their own. And so the user's manual I got with this was 127 pages. And went in detail. Well, Sean sent me an email welcoming me to the volunteer group and told me where I was gonna be, and I've been assigned to the med tent. And then in an email, he listed the RaceNet frequency and the CTCSS code. The only thing he didn't put in there was the offset. And I got that from Repeater Book. So I did my best reading the instructions to program this thing for RaceNet. Anybody that wants to take a look at this and tell me if I did it right or wrong, I would greatly appreciate it. And so that's kind of where I'm at, because one of the things the gentleman from AARL told me was volunteer, go to meetings, volunteer, and just ask if you can hang around with people that know what they're doing.
When you find them, let us know.
I will, because I already have. I spent an entire day watching YouTube videos and everything else. Well, I'm a member of CATS, and I went out to the Windy Hill Golf Course one Monday night. I learned more in 30 minutes from John than I did all day long watching YouTube videos. And that's the power, that's the enjoyment that I'm finding as a brand new tech, is talking to the people that have passed their general, passed their extra, that have been doing it for 10, 20, 30 years, that have probably forgotten more than I know. So I am immensely grateful for the wisdom that John has shared. So basically, thank you, and I just thought I'd let everybody know, kind of as a brand new tech, where I'm at, and you kind of sparked me to stand up, because this is where.
I'm kind of curious.
Somebody's curious?
Points, I appreciate that. And something that we discussed at the board meeting, you know, the attendance trends and also helping new hams on the air, what we can do, you raise a lot of good points, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, come on out to my place.
Daryl, can I add something real quick along?
It's a bunch of antiques, might scare the death, it looks like Frankenstein, but that don't put you off.
Something that I will say, Dave, because I know we talked to Cheats too. As a newer ham who's also started mentoring people a little bit, because the hobby is so diverse, it's always a little bit tricky. I know, because I'm actually like literally an engineering major, so I'm like the geekiest geek out there. So like I'm actually interested like in transistors and tubes, as the gentleman behind you will tell you, my co-extra teacher. So it's always interesting because I get a lot of satisfaction like talking to people across the world. And I think a lot of people, when you join as a tech, will tell you, oh, talk locally. So it's something for you to think about, I think, and for you guys as new techs. What makes you happy when you get on the radio? Because I know for me as kind of an aspiring Elmer / mentor, there's so much that makes people tick in the hobby. And I don't always know how to help people because I know what makes me happy doesn't necessarily make other people happy because I'm more interested in kind of the geekier ends of the hobby. So if just talking on the radio makes you happy, it's easy to do that locally, but some of the stuff I do gets a little more technically involved. So it is something to think about when you approach people. If you decide you have an interest, then there's so many directions that we can get you to the right people of that.
Well, Will, I can give you two. One is volunteering.
Right.
And at the various functions where communication is needed.
And we have the guy for you for that.
Okay. And the second one is POTA.
Yeah. And we have the guy for you for that
And
too.
that's but that's not something I can pursue until after I get my general. That's
Right.
why.
Sure you can.
Sure you can.
Sure you can. Stay there, and if anybody has a general class license, you can operate under their privileges.
Okay.
And volunteering, you also just need a tech license for.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah.
So,
You can operate POTA.
yeah, so, but,
Those are my two interests.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, and I have your call sign. I'm gonna shoot you an email right now.
Yeah.
But people are talking,
Yeah.
but.
Take a road.
Comment
Okay.
comment from the web here. The idea of setting up a station is a regular thing for new ham use.
Yeah, that was another item from our board meeting. Thank you for mentioning that, is that we will have a station set up here during the meeting. So it's HF stations. Don't know if it'll be in this room or maybe in the comments. But if you wanted to step away from the meeting and see what's on the air, or you wanted somebody to show you that radio, and maybe we would have a couple of different radios at different times so you could try different radio sounds, HF radios. We'll have to look to see what antenna we might use or what gutter we might use over here on this side. That'll be interesting to see how well that works. But we want to have a station in the meeting that's, when we break, or before the meeting starts, after the meeting, a few minutes, get on the air, see who's on the air and help some of the new hams get on the air.
Comment?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, does the club have stations that they can loan for a short period of time to a new ham such that they can at least get on the air versus going out and buying a ICOM 7300 or a Yaesu, $1,000 radio? I know we've loaned one radio that came through, but to have some radios and also know how to operate them if we're going to loan them out, that's another, the one I loaned out, probably need to read the manual. But if we had a couple radios for new hams that they could use as they learn about what radios that they might want to buy or find in the used market.
One, we have the remote station that all members can get on with their privileges and use. So that's a ICOM 7100
VHF, UHF.
Yeah, so it will handle your tech fine, and then when you get your general, you'll still be fine. We support all the channels. So our frequency bands. So that's one that you won't have your hands on it, but you can use that. If you use a computer, remote hams, it's free. If you have an Android device, it's $10, I think, $9.99, something like that. If you have an iPhone, you're out of luck because the guy who wrote the software has an issue with Apple and refuses to write the code for it. So unfortunately, that's the other side. But if you have a computer, you can download the current version of Remote Hams Client. And if you've been a member for more than a month, you're in the remote ham station. So you use your call sign, that's one way. Do we still have some of the handholds that we could maybe loan out?
Yeah, we still have some, we have some HT. Like the other thing, you can get on with your mentors. What than where you can be on,
709.
which means you can go back and forth. Will and I have been on at the same time, so like that in the microphone from person to person. And that can be useful because you can type little notes. So you can say, okay, you want to try this, you want to try that, type notes and pass the microphone back and forth. So you can do that with a mentor that can help you learn how to do some stuff in HF.
Well, we don't have a free radio, the radio that is available. The radio that we get will be donated, and then that will be used here during the club's meetings for use. If we had opportunities, other donations for modern, we don't want any vintage radios. We want something modern, current, and that would be those donations. And then if we had something donated to the club, then we could think about loaning that out. But I like the idea of visiting hams, visiting some of the hams that are in the area and look at their radios. If you're interested in a Kenwood 890, just ask, does anybody have a Kenwood 890 or Flex 6400 or ICOM 7300? You can go to that guy's house and sit down next to him and use that radio and decide if that's one you want to use. That's what the club is all about, those kind of connections and that kind of help. Anything else? Any other announcements?
I have one question. This is a new configuration, an arc of 2 rows, basically. You like it? You want to go back to the solid rows?
No, this is good. Yeah, I like it. Good. Good.
There's no pillars in the way of this room, so thought we'd try the arc. Somebody at one meeting some time ago complained about having to always watch the back of the head of the person in front of them, so I tried to stagger the show for chairs that you could look between their shoulders.
Sound seems good too.
Huh?
The sound seems good.
Yeah, as they say, there's new people have commented that it's much better sound on their hearing. I did find the volume control on the microphone in the aisle, so the recordings to be much better also.
So
Thank you for your feedback.
So if there are no other announcements, do we have a motion to conclude the business portion of our meeting?
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yeah.
10-minute break.
Of Tom DZS from Virginia Beach. He had quite the international career with slow scan. Been around a long time, and whenever I mention it, people say, "Oh, I've heard of that. Must be very difficult. It's all pictures and things." Well, it isn't. So let's kick off and see what it. You can send receive pictures, graphics, diagrams. VHF, satellite, all good. You don't need an internet. This is interesting because it's kind of a digital, unlike D-Star, VMR, Fusion, that can do much of their journey by internet. And in fact, you can have a QSO with those modes just with a computer, no radio actually involved at all. I'm sure that's still quite radio, but that's a lot of fun. This thing is free. One of our good people in this room was complaining to me that, oh, there are so many things I want to do with radio. It's all too expensive. The radio is expensive. All the gadgets and bits and pieces are all too expensive. This is free, really free, free as in beer. And you need really minimal equipment to do it. Could be maybe just a USB cable. A few things it isn't. It's not every kind of picture that goes by radio. I don't know if you've ever tried this, WeFax. But you can get weather maps from all over the world. When we're heading towards a fine storm, it's kind of fun to see the global view. And that too covers nothing. It's easy to do. Maybe we'll talk about that another time. NASA used it originally to send images from space. It was designed in those days with, of course, minimal equipment. It was quickly adopted by radio amateurs for personal communication. And more recently, the flood of pictures from the International Space Station have popularized it even further. 1950s, it was developed for image transmission, so it's been there for quite a long time. The images are encoded into audio tones, much like FT8 digital modes. It's played over sideband transmission, so there's nothing unfamiliar there. And then the computer, as it were, listens to the transmission on the receiving end and puts it back into a picture. There are various modes. At this point, don't worry too much about them. People get really worked up about them. Common ones, Martin, Scotty, Robot, and there are a whole string more of them. What you need? Well, obviously, you need a sideband capable transceiver. A computer. What kind of computer? Almost any kind of computer. Windows, Mac, Linux, and for the real gluttons for punishment, it is actually possible to do it on a cell phone with either by Apple or Android. You need, if you have a transceiver, a sound card interface. Now, this is the thing that joins your transceiver to the computer. It can be a standalone little item like the signal link or Rig Expert PI 3000. All that does is takes audio in one side and a USB connection to the computer on the other. Many modern rigs spart a little USB connector on the back of them because this capability is already built into your transceiver. In fact, most of the modern transceivers are like this. So what is the equipment you need? One USB cable, if you don't already have one. So there it is. The most red dot's not going to show up. The most advanced piece of equipment you're ever going to need, and the most complicated, is the top diagram. There's an antenna on the right, a transceiver, and transmit audio, receive audio, and if you're not going to use your thumb on the transceiver for the PTT, a line to control PTT, onto this magic interface box in the middle, and a USB to the computer. A modern computer, because it contains the box in the middle, your whole outfit looks like the bottom one. A transceiver, a computer, and a wire between the two. That should be a pretty low barrier for entry. Now, you might have thought that this looks really rather similar to the digital modes, FT8, FT4, if you've ever played with those. They're a lot of fun too. There's WeFax and Olivia, so all kind of works. But the computer, the radio, they all join the same way. So I really would urge you to get that USB cable between the two, because it opens the door to the whole shebang. So how about this signal? What's it look like? Well, there are some references I'll leave with you that go into it in great detail if you're curious. But basically, it's a sideband signal, 2.3 kilohertz wide. And it sends the picture scan line by scan line. So the first part of the scan line is, excuse me, computer, new line starting. So right at the about 120, there's a sync pulse, which tells the computer new line coming. And then there's some little grass at the bottom, just to the right of the sync pulse. There is color information and all sorts of goodies to refine the picture. And you go from, on the right, from about 1500 to up to 2200 hertz, the picture scanned from left to right. And the colors are all encoded depending on the grass stuff. And how can the color be encoded? In many ways. Some of it is a progressive encoding. It all depends on the mode. But we'll not get too worked up about that mode because I'll show you a wonderful sheet. So, radio settings, upper sideband. Wide to start with, 2.3 kilohertz. So don't have it all squashed down for your CW settings because the picture will not like that. AGC fast, because this is going to be a picture will take several seconds to come through. And if there's a little ionospheric disturbance or, shall we say, a lightning strike, whatever, you'd like the AGC to respond nice and quickly. The next thing is, the great temptation as ever is to broadcast maximum power. If you splatter in the least, you will screw up the picture. So the art of it is to do as much as your rig will comfortably do. Don't see any ALC at all. So that one will give you the best pictures. And you might say, oh, if only I'd used a little more drive, perhaps I would have gotten the picture through. Yeah, we've all thought about that with the sideband voice, and then somebody tells you all about splatter and how you're annoying everybody in the neighborhood. It's no good. So the software. Did I say this was expensive? Let's rub it in again. It's free, as in beer. The whole darn thing is free. So really no excuse. SSTV for Windows. These have all been around for a long time, so they're nicely refined. They've been well developed. There's another, there are two branches of development for Windows. There's one, they're both called SSTV. One of them also has the word Yoniq, Y-O-N-I-Q on it. It's another development branch of it. It's perhaps a little more modern, but they are both indistinguishable in use, and they're both excellent, so don't worry, whatever comes first. QSSTV seems to be the best, and again, well practiced for Linux. Multiscan 3B for the Mac. Not so many Mac users, but I don't know if it's my imagination, but looking at the discussion boards, looks like Mac and ham radio are coming together rather more nowadays than before. So if you're a Macist, there it is. Now just remember, we're going to be swapping pictures between any of those three operating systems, a whole bunch of modes. So what's this going to mean? All of these apps have to be remarkably similar, otherwise it won't work. So if I show you one in detail, then you're good for practically all of them, bearing in mind the appearance may vary just a tad, but exactly the same important parts will be necessary for all. So set up the software. You'll have those sorts of questionnaires that come with every new piece of software. And the questions really are personal. First name, I can do that. Last name, it's left blank, mind your own business. Next one, call sign, but if you don't have one, we can fix that. QTH, that's where you hang out, and your locator. I just use the first 4 of my locator rather than the whole 6. I don't want anybody coming to bang on my door. They want to know approximately where I am. It's good enough. And anything else I want to go with it? Not much. Now here is the setup for that sound link, your sound card or sound interface of your rig. There's a reference to all the particulars, but I'd just like to draw attention to it in principle. All it's going to need is what kind of rig you have, because talking to each one is a little bit different. Do you want to use the sound connection to control the PTT? The answer is yes, unless you've got a darn good reason to do otherwise, because otherwise you've got to poke it with your finger. No, I don't think so. And the likes and dislikes for that serial port, the non-Windows people have it easy because it's just a USB port that's usually comes up from 0. The Windows people, when you open the app, will tell you a match between a COM port number and the USB. Pencil it down on a scratch pad while you're doing it, just in case you come to the next page of the setup and it asks you what number was it, and then you won't have to go back. Need help? There's lots of help. This dates from the 1950s, for goodness sake. So the YouTube, the web, they've all been full of stuff on this. Use the search box, just drop in SSTV, and you will be amazed at the help that is there. And on the piece of paper, there's a reference to setup for Windows, setup for Linux, and each of these are step by step. We'll not go through them because it will be just downright tedious. And anyway, as I explained, it would have to be done 3 times over, almost exactly the same stuff. And again for the Mac. So, all set. Let's see how it works. We all listen first. Well, we ought. So you watch for a picture. Maybe it's somebody's CQ. Wow. Well, what do you do when you hear CQ? You answer it. Send your picture. And a signal report. Was this beautiful broadcast quality, or was this a snowstorm and I can barely see? Who is it? Is it your mugshot? No, I don't know. I have no idea what it is. Send the report, and you will then signal reports just the same as a voice queue. So you exchange signal reports. You say thank you, and then do please log the contact, because even if you don't log the contact, your partner may want it for, he's collecting counties, he's collecting states, or he just had a good time. Yeah.
Essential correction, the QSSTV Linux program is no longer available. I just tried to download it and all the links are dead.
Working on my machine. I think so. Yeah, I installed a new one this morning, and no problem. The latest version of QSSTV should be 9 point didn't have it there. Yeah, but it is very much alive. Where is it? Where to find it? The most common frequency of all is 14 to 30. 20-meter band, 14 to 30. Which gives rise to a bit of grief and amusement, because that, as you can imagine, is right in the middle of several voice QSOs. And boy, do they love a picture being Now consider that a picture is going to take about a minute per picture to scan and transmit. You will hear all sorts of comments about what is that noise? Well, if anybody had actually looked at a band plan, they would have seen that 14 to 30 is indeed an international calling frequency. And is it your right to use it? No, but I think it's common courtesy for other people to steer clear of their using voice, and this is where a rather special group of people are going to meet. Other frequencies, they occur on most of the bands, and remember they can also be sent on FM frequencies, 2 meters, frequently used. The Power 10 group here does a fine swap of pictures on 2 meters, a bit too far from them, but and then of course 2 meters is your source of pictures from the ISS. So there it is. 145.800 is the downlink from this space station if you want to catch them. What you're going to need, a handheld or a base radio. It's a good strong signal, so you don't need a fancy antenna for this one. And your SSTV app software for decoding. And it's fun to collect pictures like that. Isn't that terrific? So, how to operate a slow scan? You tune your radio to 14 to 30. Start the software. Adjust the audio levels properly, for just as we were saying. Select your image, and here's that word mode again. Basically, I think your starting advice is there's on each of the brands of software, there is a setting auto. Let the software use itself first, unless you have a good idea what you're doing. When you receive a picture from your partner, it's usual common courtesy to reply with the same mode. It's just a pull down menu and you just click what mode it is. If your software has not correctly identified, it usually does. So it makes very few mistakes. And that's basically how you transmit and excuse me. Well, we have to have an example, don't we? From our good friends just north of the border, VD2 JCW. There is a CQDX received here in Amelia just a few days ago. This is the received picture of QSSTV. It says auto slant. Ah, there's that word auto. The answer is yes. There's a check mark. And then it says auto save. Well, we don't, having gone through all this trouble, we don't want to lose it. So, well, that sounds a good thing to do. Sensitivity. Well, we're all sensitive, I suppose. Normal is usually a nice one to choose there. Mode auto, and it will sometimes ask you what format you'd like to save this picture as. I'd recommend JPEG, something compressed. Otherwise, you will have large acreages of your hard drive taken up with oh so many pictures. JPEG's good enough for this. So over here is this thing that looks like a streaky waterfall. This is a waterfall. It's a It's a moving display of the audio signal as it comes in. And in real time, this last line is shown at the top. There's a spike of color, another little spike of color, and some tiny little stuff at the back in the between the left two red lines, and that's the same pulse. So let's take a look at that top right-hand corner a bit more. See the word auto? If you don't know the option, choose auto or normal. That will get you out of all the trouble, really promise. Between pictures, there is the background noise. The audio level is adjusted so that this green shimmering grass just shows above the bottom. If you have it too loud, as soon as the picture comes, it'll bump against the top and will distort. So just see the grass at the bottom and you're good to go. If you want to be really expert, we said that this was precisely 2.3 kilohertz wide. Between the left red line and the right red line, you guessed it, is 2.3 kilohertz. So if you've got fancy passband tuning, you can narrow your bandwidth to bring it right up to both sides and get a slightly cleaner picture, because any strong garbage that comes up close is not going to come through and spoil the picture. Right. I can't delay it any longer. Let's talk about some of those modes. The most common ones, as I said, are there's Martin and Scotty and Robot, but there are lots of them. Martin, those are the top two that are the most common. Those are the two common ones of Scotty. Robot color 36 is the most common one. So why are there so many? It's a trade-off. If you want to get a crappy little picture through as quickly as possible, and you do not care how awful it looks, black and white will do you. Minimal number of lines. You can do it with robot black and white. The whole darn thing is over in 8 seconds. Is it beautiful? It is not. However, if, for instance, you wanted to send it by Martin or Scotty, the two more common ones here in the United States, Martin 1 will take you 114 seconds for a picture. Martin 2, 58 seconds. Which one do you suppose looks better? There you go. Martin 1 on the left, 114. Martin 2 on the right, 58.
Takes longer.
A little sharp. Yeah, you got it. A little longer. And unless you're in a rip-snorting hurry, it pays dividends in picture quality. So there's a side-by-side. Both exactly the same, only thing different. Best practices, always ID with your call sign. I put that in because once you get cracking with this, you have a stack of pictures at home on your pictures folder, and then you want to share them, and you spit them out, and then you put, oh no, my call sign isn't on any of them. Could be anybody's. So send your call sign. I'll tell you how to do that in just a moment. Stick to the recognized SSTV frequencies, and if they're really busy, send a quick picture advertising that you are going to QSY to somewhere very close. So shall we say, instead of 14,230, 14,233 perhaps, and invite folks to join you there. Use proper image modes for the band conditions. if the band is really terrible, if you use the quick modes, you're wasting everybody's time. The picture will arrive in such appalling condition that nobody will get much out of it anyway. So go for the longer, slower modes when the conditions get awful. And then you'll still get your picture through. And once again, don't overdrive the problem. So, what's a QSO look like? Here's mine. Oh, by the way, this kitty is a great friend of mine. He lives in the Richmond Zoo. Go pay him a visit. He's looking at me. I think I know the look in that eye. It's lunch, but anyway, there he is. So, CQ 3 times over, just in case there's a thunderclap or something that Smiley is one of them. My call sign twice. I don't know how this is going to be received. I'll assume with any luck, no. Isn't it fun when you send CQ and somebody comes back? Still fun. I don't know. It's first time it happened, I remember, and still fun. So there it is. From this guy. There's my call sign. And it's a bit smudged, but he's given me a signal report of 555. Huh? Sort of, what do you say? 5 to 9 or something of the sort to everybody? Clearly not here. These signal reports have to do with pictures rather than sound. So we use a different way of reporting them. This little picture here on the computer, look, it's a picture in a picture. There is my kitty, rather small in the middle. So you've got some idea what sort of state your kitty arrived in, as well as the signal report. You exchange signal reports, and then if you're lucky, your partner sends you a thank you. And please remember to log it, of course. Signal reports. There are 2 main ways of doing it. One is the RSV system, readability, strength, video. The first one, readability, it's a 5 scale. The strength, just as with sideband, otherwise is a 9 scale, and the video quality is another 5 scale. And if you think that's all too involved, and you just want to say, yeah, it's a great picture. Oh no, this is just awful. Or, not too bad. There's the P, picture quality. It's just a 5-point scale. All the way from 5, it could have come from a local broadcaster, down to 1. I can barely see your picture at all. So there are the readability, 5, signal strength and video, as I said. Let's have a look at some examples. Now there is P5, top left. Really nice and sharp, beautiful colors, the lettering, pin sharp, no problem at all. Now the next one, there's P4. It's good, but you may be able to see from the back of the room, but it's not quite as pin sharp as a P5. 3, it's usable, you can read it all, but there's an awful lot of mess on it. There you can read a P2, you can read some of it. At a pinch, most of it is if you squint at it. P1, practically not. And a P0 is just a useless picture. So, how do you get the fancy lettering on? So I have a picture, a couple of inspection dogs. It appears that nobody is above suspicion. And I want to put that CQ lettering on the picture. you don't have to mess up your beautiful pictures. We use pliable templates. They're like overlays. And each of the SSTV programs has an editor, which is really pretty darn easy. There is the template editor. And you have a selection of fonts in various sizes. Choose big ones. Choose bold fonts, something that is really darned easy to see. And have a thought as to where you're going to put the lettering. Here I put it, okay, it goes over the pup's feet. I'm sorry, pup, it's all right. The faces, the animals in the middle, they're all in the clear. The CQ goes across the top. The picture is more or less intact. It's all too easy, unless you have a bit of a think beforehand, to put your lettering right across. You want to show somebody what you look like. Well, why not? There's no other way on radio you can do this. See where you put your lettering so that people really can see your face. That's easy, but we showed some fancy stuff. We showed a picture within a picture for when you're doing a signal report. Yes, they even have a little square thing that you can pull into your frame and show where you would like to put your picture within the picture. And if you're going to make lots of contacts and you want to send your signal report to somebody, you don't want to type the call sign over and over. And you probably don't want to send them the same signal report over and over. So these things can be scripted, and most of the scripts are so easy. C for the contact call sign, M for your call, R for the signal report. Not difficult to remember. So between that lot, you can end up with something that looks really quite presentable. So let's have a look at what has washed up on 20 meters in Amelia recently. These are all pretty local. I'm hoping that this is not a likeness of KQ4TX, but who knows? One from Boston. And yay, Poda! Can you do pictures from apart? Darn right you can. And many of them are really some beautiful pictures, sometimes sunsets and whatever, from the park they're sent from. So that's really rather cool. And I don't know whether this is somebody wanting the luck of the Irish or why it was there, but got that. And there's a picture in a picture. There's my CQ call. This time, same lettering. It's that template again. Do it again, but nobody knows. Same template and a picture of a camel. I don't like camels, but I just happen to camel. So can you DX with this? Yes, you can. Are there DX certificates and competitions? In the United States, as far as I can figure out, not much. But there are avid contestants with slow scan in Europe and Japan. What we have here. RB6FT.
Sounds Romanian.
Right there. It is. DD7 BDM. F4FTB. France. Oh, here's a nice one. SB2HYT. Greece. It's got to be, hasn't it? And there's an XE2 MAM. Mexico. And there's a Canadian. And wait, there's more. 9Z4CAC. Trinidad and Tobago. IZ3AOY, Verona, Italy. Sometimes. And the delightful Andrea. Thank you, ma'am. Chicks, take a note. And if you're doing DX and sending pictures of somewhere, maybe you send a picture of your home, your hometown, or it might even be that fine statue in Boston, in New York Harbor, who knows? Just give a thought to putting your place name on it, because some people the other side of the world may not recognize it. SV2ROC, well, we had a number of those. HC2FJ, Colombia. Nah, not Colombia, Ecuador. Oh, and that I think is another Russian, but I think that's meant to be is that a Russian bear waiting for his dinner? I think so. And DK3QD, that could be Russian. And another Italian, another French, another Mexican. Oh, HA5QLG. Gotta be. And this one, Reunion Island. Geography 101. Where's Reunion Island? Indian Ocean, just the other side of Madagascar. This is 100 watts on a wire, a million. So here are a few odd ones thrown together. WB9, DZS, dear Tom, and he has a remarkable collection of vehicles, yes, vehicles. and great kindness too. Huntsville, who does QRP around here? What about QRP pictures? Seagull G1M, 3 watts from Huntsville. Not a very beautiful picture, to be fair to say, but it's in good condition by the time it arrived. 3 watts, so. And there's, oh dear. And this scallywag, you'll meet some people who will give you a lot of fun on the air. I don't think that W6GOK looks like that. In fact, I'm pretty sure not. This is, I said 14,230 is your frequency. Every now and again, with when the sunspots cooperate, there we are on 10 meters, and 10 meters sometimes gives the most noise-free and most beautiful contacts, but they are somewhat rare. Anyway, there is one. And I don't know, but firstly, I didn't know that Santa was licensed, but clearly so. And I don't remember Santa looking like that, right?
He does have a wife.
Now, I was standing in the parking lot of Windy Hill 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago? Yes, 2 weeks ago. And Dave LQN was receiving pictures from the space station. And I was a little late on parade, so I suddenly heard this unmistakable sound of slow scan. And I thought, where's my cell phone? There's a fine app, Android app. There's one, I think it's the same name. It is, it's very similar, Robot 36. And it uses the microphone of your cell phone. So all I had to do was hold my cell phone somewhere near Dave's radio, and I got the end of the last frame. At least I got something. And there it is, Apollo Soyuz artist depiction. The last few lines of the last picture from the space station by cell phone, not even connected. So the reason I put that up there is to emphasize anybody can do this. The technology really is pretty robust. We'll even survive that. So resources, They're on your piece of paper or you can find them afterwards, so don't worry about, we have lots of, spare copies of the resources if anybody wants them afterwards. Do final points, just to fill it in. Oh, yes. We said that we're going to be sending a signal, maybe just over the minute, on a really slow scan, maybe 2 minutes, for the sharpest and best picture under difficult conditions. Your PTT is going to be on for 2 solid minutes. Some older rigs might get a little toasty towards the end of that. So watch the temperature on particularly older rigs. Newer ones are quite happy to blast away indefinitely on full power. All that happens is the fan comes on a little more briskly than before. So just give that a thought. Don't overdrive the transmitter, no ALC. Get your ducks in a row before you start. Have perhaps a little folder of photos that you're planning to use. Similarly have your templates organized. You'll always think of another template or another piece of something or other to say to somebody, so you can always add it. That's easy. But do your homework first. And don't worry if 14.230 seems busy. Wait for a little gap, send a really little picture advertising that you will QSY somewhere very close. Well, I don't know if there are any questions. I don't know if I have answers, but we'll perhaps throw into that how you can start doing this. All that's left really, I guess, is thanks for coming. Have fun doing it, and there's the references, so you don't have to make any notes. Who's first? Yes, sir.
I didn't see any black and white. Is that pretty much gone now, or do you see any black and white?
Oh, yes. Some. What's the pros and cons? Black and white, particularly black and white robot modes, they start at 6 seconds for a whole picture. They're fast. I'm not an artist, and some artists say the black and white photo is infinitely superior to the colored one. I'm not getting into that fight, but most people seem to like color, but there are still many black and whites, and send them along with the colored ones, and the mix works just fine. Yeah.
Got a question on the, Jim?
Jim.
Hi,
Jim?
thanks for the great presentation. And unless I spaced out and you mentioned this and I didn't, and I don't remember, which is very possible. Aren't there new rules regarding, how fast you can send and receive data over HF? That the FCC allows now, or am I thinking of something else? Are you aware of any changes?
As far as I know, the upper limits of I think this pertains mostly to packet, doesn't it? And there was the most expensive pack wrap was interface was speed limited, even though the government services use much faster rates. I believe the amateur allowed rates have been increased recently, but slow scan is slow scan just the same. There is a slow scan, of course, that is digital, and that is sent with the same technology as, oh God, this gets confusing, doesn't it? Not DMR, but DRM. Digital Radio Mondial.
Mondial,
It's-
okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great job.
I find it's sent over HR. It's interesting, almost every other user of the radio seems to have graduated towards digital use. We seem to have a stubborn refusal to get stuck into digital voice or digital pictures. Don't know why, but.
Because the codexes were mostly proprietary and you weren't allowed to use them.
May I recommend 14238, I think, and 3DV.
That's the first one.
Because that's a lot of fun and that comes at the same price as Bruce says. And I love the Canadians who were rejoicing with their free DV. They got halfway across their continent with an interesting signal report. 5 by 0. Huh? It was under a 1. Each end had perfect copy. They looked at the waterfall and the fish finder, and there's nothing to see there at all. Absolutely nothing at all. But they got every word. So it's a 5, I guess, isn't it? And signal strength, if there's nothing there, what do you call it? So it looks like digital is a whole new frontier. And just for fun, you saw a picture sent from Huntsville, 3 watts. So if you don't have huge kilowatt amplifiers, don't worry, you're still in this game. And do you do better with an amplifier? I have no idea. I don't have one. So any more? That's about it. Help yourself to a piece of paper on the way out that has where to catch up with the slides, the references, and a free book. There's a free book on amateur radio and picture modes. So once again, free comes at the right price. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Excellent presentation, John. John.
Thank you for staying.
Well, there's nothing else. We'll adjourn the meeting for tonight. Thank you for your participation in coming out, all those on Zoom and those present here. The next meeting, Gene is going to lead us on the little unit we use for D-Star, the hotspots. Build one up here. So he's got one he'll assemble and walk you through getting the hotspot for your PMR or your D-Star or Fusion Radio. So look forward to that. Have a good evening.